Hey everyone, we are live. Great to see you. I hope everyone is having a great week. And I see we have Bobby here. It's so good to see you. My condolences go out to you and your family, my good friend. Very sad. But God has you. I just want you to know that. And we have a shot of inspiration. How are you? It's great to see you. Thank you so much for hanging out. We have Patty C. Hi, Patty. How are you? All the way from Illinois. How's everything? I hope you're doing well today. And we have Wendy Stevens. Hi, Wendy. How are you? All the way from the Dallas area. We have Astral from the UK. So glad you are here. I'm going to change microphones because there's a delay. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to add an audio source, microphone. Okay, so now we have a much better uh, sound thing going on. Mr. Rick, how are you? Great to see you from Canada. I'm so glad you're here. And thank you so much, Bobby. I appreciate you and your kind thoughts. Thank you so much. And so, what a great group we have. Thank you so much for coming by and watching me during this, hanging out with me during this live stream. We're still working on this young lady here, and we're going to continue today. I know I said uh, in the advertisement on Facebook about the live stream that's finishing up, but I'm definitely not going to finish today. But we're going to work on it. We're going to continue playing around with her, with trying to get her likeness. Mr. Dwayne Marshall, how are you, sir? Great to see you. All the way from San Luis Obispo. You're not getting any of that crazy snow over there, are you, sir? I hope not. So, what a great group. Thank you so much, everybody. And let's see. I don't think we have too much of a delay because I changed microphones to the webcam microphone. So that should fix that. I know 2 weeks ago there was a bit of a delay. Mr. Michael McClung from the Maryland area, how are you, sir? So glad you're here. No snow, but lots of rain. Same here, sir, in Jersey. We're getting lots of rain. So yeah, very similar stuff going on. Rain is just annoying, right? That's what rain is about. So today I think we're going to work a little bit on the pomegranate and just to start with, kind of ease our way into this. Let's see. Oh, Wendy, you're getting the dry spell, is that correct? Let's see. I'm going to look for my freehand stencil of the pomegranate right here, and we're just going to work on it. We're going to do a little color mixing and see how this goes. Let's see. First things first, let's go ahead and isolate this pomegranate here. I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm going to put a little magnet here to cover her lips, and then going one further, putting a post-it note. They say that's what they say, right? The best defense is not to be there. So let's see. I think the magnet was overkill. There we go. Put that there. Okay, we're going to make sure that pomegranate is in correctly. Oh, yes, Dwayne, they were asking about the wildfires. I hope you're okay, sir. Mr. Dwayne Marshall, thank you so much for the super chat, sir. Your support and friendship is so appreciated, and all your great knowledge, and thank you so much. It's such an honor for me that you take time out of your week to hang out with me. So thank you so much for that, sir. I mean, I really appreciate it. It's like a doubly bonus. The bonus that you're here, triply bonus your knowledge and how you just freely share that knowledge is just amazing, sir. Thank you. Oh, thank God no wildfires, right? That's for sure. So what I'm going to do is I have this, and now I'm going to put some magnets, and we're going to work on getting some of the texture of that pomegranate, right? So that's very important. Mr. Color Graphics, Roy, how's it going, sir? Great to see you. Oh, Michael, thank you so much for your condolences. I really appreciate it. It was one of the toughest weeks of my life, and I'm never going to be the same. Uh, but you know, I'm a man of faith, and you know, I know my mom's looking down on me. She's always been my best fan, my most avid fan my whole life. So thank you so much for that, Mr. Michael. I really appreciate that. Appreciate your friendship profoundly. Colette, how are you all the way from Wisconsin? How are you today? I'm so glad you're here. That is so great. And so that is fantastic. Roy, now the airbrush was working perfectly when it left my studio. How is it working when you tested it out? Hopefully I did a repair job for Mr. Uh, for Mr. Roy there. Hopefully it hope it was a Mr. Oz. How are you? All the way from the uh, Atlanta area. I'm so glad you're here, sir. How have you been feeling? So my prayers are always for you to be healthy, stay healthy. That's so important. Really is. Uh, oh, fantastic. So I'm glad to hear that. Yes, that is good to hear, Roy. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to uh, go into Krita and bring up the right piece here. Okay, so now my goal. Oh, I'm so glad, Oz. That makes me happy. How's your son in Japan, Astral? So I'm going to. We're gonna find the shadow color of this pomegranate here. Okay, so the shadow color. I'm looking at this and going over how I find this color. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate that color. I'm going to find the hue and then the next element. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and find that color together. And we're going to be using Wicked Paint today, which is always great. Oh, Dwayne, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that so very much. Thank you for your warm thoughts. I appreciate you. Okay, so now we're going to find that red, right? So I think it's more like the carmine red. You know the whole story about carmine, that the color was invented in Afghanistan by actually uh, squishing these bugs, and that's where you get that red dye of from Afghanistan, the color carmine. Isn't that interesting? Let's see if I can find it. Detail carmine. I think I got it. Yes, okay. So now I have detail carmine. Yes, very true, Wendy, the bugs. Paul, how are you all the way from Indiana? Thank you so much for coming by. I'm very happy to see you. How is everything? I am so glad. Shellac as well, yes. I love shellac, as you all know, right? So I am going to okay, and now I'm going to 4011 it. Here's my 4011. First we'll 4011 this color here. And I'm going to do approximately a 1 to 3 or 3 to 1, 3 parts 4011, 1 part color. And Dwayne says, missed a couple of streams due to working. Oh man. And Wendy says, it smells like hairspray because they put shellac in hairspray, and there's a little bit of shellac in Airbrush India ink, just as a little bit of a fun fact of my Airbrush India ink, just a little bit of shellac. So that's cool. So that's what gives it the ability to stick. Astral says they make red lipstick from beetles in the Canaries. Wow. That is very cool. And look at that. Yes, the binder. Very true, Dwayne. Very true. So I'm going to mix this carmine color here. And I'm going to put it aside because we're going to use this quite sparingly. So now what I'm going to do is get my next color. Oh, Victor, how are you? Great to see you, sir. How is everything? I am so glad you're here. And thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next. And let's see. So we're looking at yes. So I am going to get some Wicked Black. And then we're going to 311 that. 4011, 311, I don't know what that is. Let's see. Really what you want to do is get the colors to the same consistency, because when you do that, they're going to have equal strength, at least for dilution. Okay. So now we're going to, so we're looking at okay, so I have to get my chart that's going to tell me exactly what ratio to do. And since everything that has transpired, I have been a little bit unorganized. Disorganized? Let's see, guys. Here we go. Okay. So if I'm looking at 10%, so I'm looking at, okay, so let me go ahead and do this. So and let's mix this up. Okay, almost there. And come over here. Okay, I believe I have the color, which is nice. So I do have a new system of mixing color coming out. And the way I see it is that it's going to kind of revolutionize how color is thought of, and I'm so excited to be able to share that in the future. Mr. Brad Mummery, how are you, sir? I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for coming. So I have the color right on the money, and it took a little bit, but we got it. We have the right proportions and everything. So now I'm going to get my Extreme Patriot arrow out here. Where is it? Here it is. And a little bit on the disorganized side today. But we're going to be okay. Okay, so I'm going to load my airbrush. And of course, I haven't airbrushed in like 7 days, which is definitely an anomaly for me. So let's go ahead and see if I can test this out here. Make sure I have the right color. Make sure the airbrush is working correctly. Okay. So now I have this nice, beautiful, deep red. Internet is acting up a bit. Oh, having another snowstorm. Oh, man. Be careful. Mr. Air Todd, how are you today? I am so glad you're here, sir. So great to see you. Okay, so now I am going to come back over here, and we're going to start working on our pomegranate. Now we just got to make sure that we don't oversaturate. And notice I'm spraying away from the shield, right? That's very important. And let's see. I'm going to move our young lady aside here, and we'll pull up our Persephone in winter. Here she is. And I'm going to blow up where I'm working. Let's see. Okay, great. So now you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. And let's make this happen. I'm going to lower the air pressure with the pack valve. So cool. Oh, wow, you were just digging out from Monday. Wow, you're really getting it. Some say our winter is over already here in New York City, but I'm not sure. I believe that may be wishful thinking. So this beautiful carmine color. There we go, and we're going to go over the dark. There we go. Okay, so it is a little darker up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my other Extreme Patriot here. And let's see. Oh, wow. Brad said cancel the school buses for this afternoon and tomorrow morning. Stayed home and get paid. Hey, that's the way to do it. And I'm so glad to see you, Bobby. I'm so glad you're here. And my My thoughts and prayers go out to you and your family. So tonight's live stream is dedicated to my mom, who basically is responsible for me becoming an artist. And, you know, she's the one who took me to orientation for the High School of Art and Design and traveled with me to different art colleges and everything. And that was, you know, just some great experiences and everything. I just wouldn't become an artist without my mom. So tonight's live stream is dedicated to her, who I lost on like 1 week ago tonight. And thank you, Astral. I appreciate you very much. John Diekman, how are you, sir? Great to see you all the way from Wisconsin. And Bobby says, thank you. Services are tomorrow night and Friday morning and afternoon. And that's when I'll be praying for you and your family to have strength the most, Bobby. You know? And maybe she's meeting my mom, huh? Wouldn't that be something? Thank you, John. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and hit the dark here. It's just a little bit darker. So everything, remember that everything is three-dimensional, meaning every form is reacting to the light, depending on where it is, you know, how it faces the light, how it turns away from the light. But every form is affected by the light. See, now we're just turning that pomegranate. And then here, it's much darker, where it's actually facing away from the light. And the reflected light, because there's a lot of snow around here, you know. Thanks, Todd. That's a great idea. Todd says I should do a tribute piece to my mom, and that is great. And thank you for that. That's going to happen. So I appreciate that's confirmation that I should do that. Right on the edges there. And then I can come back in with the red, right, go back and forth. Thank you, Wendy. That's it. That's even further confirmation. Thank you. And putting the more detail in this pomegranate is going to go a long way. It is a pretty powerful item because it's, you know, the whole story is Persephone, and she ate the pomegranate fruit, which was forbidden, and because of that she has to spend 6 months in the underworld and 6 months in heaven, so, or paradise. So, and she is a goddess. And you know, the whole thing about Persephone is about rebirth, is about, it's about spring, it's about death and life. So it's about hope, and that's one of the reasons why I like it. So now we have a real nice pomegranate, I think. What do you guys think? I think it looks pretty good. Thank you, Colette, for your warm condolences. I appreciate you so much. And so let's zoom out. So I do like that. See how that pops now? And then we may come in with some paintbrush techniques, but I really like the color, sort of a purplish kind of color to it. Not red. I didn't want red because I want the beautiful, really warm, wonderful reds to be on her face. You know, I wanted that to be the most powerful. So that was very important. Okay, so, and we're moving along pretty good. That was very, very well. And let's see what we have here. We're going to do a lot of airbrush art today. I think we could work on her lips, her upper lip there. You know, we kind of got some really nice reds in her lip, you know, red here. So now we're going to kind of punch up the reds in her lips there. So I'm going to bring back the stencil that I just took off. But this one, just make sure that you wipe off your shield, right? You don't want to reposition paint. That's never a good thing. Okay. So thank you everyone for being here. Sorry I missed last week. That last week was the first live stream I missed in about 5 years. No exaggeration. It might be longer, but that was the first Wednesday I missed in 5 years. Okay. Now, I have this really great technique where I can cover the lower lip and then expose the upper lip, and that's what we're going to do. Let's see, I'll use a airbrush needle. That would be good. And oh, thank you, Wendy. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been like since 2018 maybe. So what is that, like 6 years? Definitely 2019, but I don't believe I missed anything in 2019. There was even some Thanksgivings where like the eve before Thanksgiving there was nobody here, and I was actually talking to myself for part of the time, and then there was 1 or 2 people. Yeah, the only time I missed before 2018 was that I was doing the live streams, but I don't think I was as weekly. But I think I think I think at least from 2019, 2018, 2017 is when I really started it in earnest. So thank God, so I was able to have that streak. And I'll start a new streak now, that's all. Okay, so now we want to find the color of her lips, right? So we're going to start with the light color. Let's come over here. And let's see. Okay, so this is the color of her lips is more of a kind of pyro red, as Mr. Steve Leahy uses a lot. So I'm going to be looking more like for a wicked red, I think. And so I'm going to go ahead and go with my method of finding that color. So first thing is I am going to find this color. Okay. And then we're going to find the next color. Go back. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is look at my chart. So basically it is a 3:7 ratio. Let's make this happen. Now when you're mixing this, hey Mr. Gregory, how are you? Ah, so glad to see you. You're in Vegas with the family. That is so wonderful. I am so glad that you're having great times with your family. You deserve it. You're a great family man, and you deserve all those blessings, my friend. And I hope you have the best time in Las Vegas. That is great. Ah, Mr. Gregory, thank you so much. Mr. McClung, thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate you guys so much. It's just amazing. I spoke with Badger today, and I paid the invoice for the parts, and that should all be happening very shortly there, Mr. Dave. And thank you for your patience. You guys are amazing. I mean, the amount of support I get from you all is just wonderful. So thank you. I appreciate you so much. And great guys, as well as you, sir. Michael, thank you. And Dave, that is so great. Keep flinging the ink in the paint. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you a lot. I just want to say thank you. So cool. And are you going to be playing blackjack at all or anything like that? Patty says she has to go, so take care, Patty. Have a great night. Thank you so much for your wonderful condolences and warm wishes. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of the evening. Mr. Gregory, I will be contacting you very soon. Thanks, Dave. Have a lot of fun out there, okay? You know, blessings to you and your family. Colette, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that so much. Thank you for your patience and everything. I just want to say I really appreciate your support and your friendship. Same thing with Dave and Michael. Thank you for your friendship, guys. Really, really appreciate it. And yes, Dave deserves to have a great time out there. Let's see. So I'm going to do my ratio here. And so the thing is that, you know, when you're mixing paint, here's something, a really good tip. This is something to put in your back pocket. It's not so much when you're mixing paint. Make sure that they're of the same dilution, whether you dilute it with 4011 or water, regardless. You just got to make sure that you have that same dilution. If you don't, then the mixture is going to be all over. Mr. Brad Mummery, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for always hanging out. And you know, me and Mr. Mummery go way back. He's my most tenured student. I'm so proud of the work that we're doing. So great, you know. I just want to say thank you. Dwayne says he used to go to Vegas a few times a year. Wow, that's amazing. He even remembers a couple. Well, they do say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right, gentlemen and ladies? So now I have my colors, right? Let's see here. So I have my colors that I want. And now with this technique, you're going to go through a lot of cups with my mixture. But it's pretty fast in how you actually get those colors. So, and I was looking at 3 to 7. So 3 parts one color and 7 parts another color. And again, I'm making sure that I have the right dilution. And there we go. Now, my little palette knife. And it looks like I nailed the color yet again. Okay, so lots of cups, but these things are cheap, so it's all good. And John Diekman, thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate the super chat, $20, so generous. Thank you. Um, I just want to say thank you for your condolences and your friendship and hanging out with me over the years. It's really appreciated. You know, Ryan, how you doing? Great to see you. Did you get your wet palette? Ryan went ahead and purchased the wet palette uh, upon my recommendation, so I'm honored for that. I know you're gonna love it, sir. So I'm gonna clean out the red I had for the pomegranate. And so that's so cool. And Ryan all the way from Canada. Ah, thank you. Colette says everyone appreciates me. I appreciate you all so much. Uh, so many super chats, so much generosity. Oh man, that was really bad with oof, that was really stinky. I think I had too much in that airbrush when I sprayed all of it out. And so sorry if I haven't answered any emails or comments this week. Uh, it's just been a very rough week, guys. But I will be back on answering all your questions and your comments, and I just want to say thank you. Oh, oh, you're gonna love it. So Ryan, when you do try it, refer back to my video, and just feel free to email me with any questions. Okay? Uh, oh yeah, I earned a commission. Thank you so much for that, Ryan. Yes, that was very generous and to use my link. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that so much. So here's the color in question. Um, let's go ahead and spray this. We'll just make sure we got all of the prior color out of there. And thank you, God, I'm having a nice spray today, which is good. And Ryan says, I hope you use the proper... Oh, Raul, how you doing? Love you too, bro. Raul says, so sorry, Tim, we love you. Thank you, Raul. Fellow New Jersey guy. I really appreciate you, sir. And thanks for hanging out, you know. Thanks for all your camaraderie over the years and your wonderful artwork. Thank you so much. And Dwayne says he needs a new needle and nozzle for his airbrush. Which airbrush, sir? Because that happens, you know. That's what usually goes is the needle or the nozzle, and sometimes both. Uh, the nozzles sometimes just wear and tear, right? That happens. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll zoom in to her. And you can see just how I did her lips, you know. See how it peels back, the top, and then the bottom is really cool the way that works out. Oh, cool. Okay, okay. Um, so the good thing is, if you, I used, oh, that's good. You worn it out. Thank you for that. And so I can send you those parts from Badger, which is part numbers, which is really works really well. They're really inexpensive, so that's a great thing about Badger, right? Now, if you ever damaged your airbrush, you could always send it to me. If you're having like anything like a needle packing, always send it to me and I'll fix it for you. But you know more about airbrushing than I do, so I know you don't need me. But thank you for using my airbrush. I really appreciate it. Now, even though, see, I was going to paint, but I wasn't, I didn't have my reference out. right? So that's so important to have the reference. So if I want a lighter color, I just increase my distance, right? That's all I do. There we go. And now what we'll do is we'll just flip it, right? We'll cover the top lip and uncover the bottom lip. That's all. Let's see. Dwayne says, I'll email you and get the parts. No hurry from you to answer back. Oh, sure. So if you want me to get those parts for you, no problem. I'll make that happen, okay? Definitely. Yes, I'll get you the parts and everything. I'll make that happen, and then we'll just go over, you know, whatever it costs to ship it, you know. Let's see here. So now we have the top and the bottom. Believe it or not, the bottom on the left side is a little bit the same color on the left side of the lip. I just want to intensify her lips. I don't want the pomegranate to take over, right? Definitely don't. Okay, so that was easy. And let's see how it came out. Easy doesn't mean it's good, you know? Dwayne says adjust the part number and can order them. Whatever's easier. Sure, definitely. I do have a discount code for you if you want to go that route. There you go. There we go. And now we can zoom out and see how it looks. Okay, so you see how nice and more powerful the red is on her lips. So it's really nice. So I don't usually want to continue moving around. You know, let's say like my instincts, right? My classically trained instincts is always like, I have that red, let me go see what that red is again, but I don't want to do that. I want to stay close to the correct color mixing, right? It's so important that I adhere to what is there, right? I mean, I can make changes, but I want to adhere to what's there. So that's part of my color mixing system, as you can see. And Mr. Astral says, I heard you were using Critter earlier. I installed that a week ago. How are you using it right now? Astral, this is a groundbreaking way of mixing color. I'm going to have a online class where I use it to mix a color so fast, and you won't need all the other colors. So basically, what I'm saying is that the way that I'm mixing it, you won't need raw sienna, burnt umber, you won't need any of those colors anymore, because this way of mixing it is so simple, and usually you can mix the color within a minute. It's just, you know, getting set up, you know, having, you know, your colors set up. Once you have your colors set up and diluted, Astral, it's going to really change the game. And I'm not saying this because, you know, it's some kind of sales pitch. This is really going to change the game. It's going to change that you're not going to be using as much paint. You're not going to have to correct your colors. And you're pretty much going to nail the colors 99% of the time, but really fast, right? Really quickly. And so it's really exciting. So stay on the lookout for that. That is something that I'm working out. And Michael says, Tim, when are you doing the oil painting? Are you still pretty shellac to, let's see, I don't see, there's this heart that's covering your message. I'll have to wait till there's another message. I'm just going to put test message so I can see your message, Michael. Test message. Let's see. Okay, it says, are you still pretty shellac over top of that? Yes. So shellac is a very important part of, oh, thank you guys. I appreciate that, Dwayne. And thanks, Astro. I'll keep you posted. Uh, for you special people out there, you're going to get, believe me, you're going to get a introductory price that is, you know, out there, you know, so don't worry about you guys. Um, so what I want you to do, um, if you are watching this, you can just type in you're interested and you'll be booked for the introductory price. Uh, so just say you're interested and I'll put you on the list of, of people who will get the introductory price at an extremely low discount. It's going to be crazy how low it is. So if you're interested, let me know and I'll put you on the list, guys. But this is definitely different. It's nothing that you've seen before. So once again, I have my colors here, but I want to work on the reds here, but it's more of an orangey color. Oh, thank you, Brad. Brad is one of my beta testers on this. So yeah, so Brad has been my beta tester, and the work he's been doing is incredible with this, and how fast he's been uh, mixing colors. It really works. It works. One thing, if you guys, thank you, Bobby's another. Uh, so my students are my beta testers, my mentorship program. It works for oil painting, so if you ever wanted to oil paint, this way is going to just blow your mind. Uh, oh, Dwayne says he likes when there's more paint on his clothes. That's funny. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate you so much. So now I'm going to mix this color, and so it's a new color, right? So I am going to find that color here. So I'm just going to go right here, and we'll just go over just how quickly I can get this color. Now it's just getting things off my desktop, but then find the second, and now find the third. Right here, and now go back to my target color. Okay, so with this, we know that we're going to be starting off with a little bit of orange in our main color, right? So we're going to start out with this same red that we were using before, which was our Wicked Red, right? So we're going to start out with Wicked Red. Thank you so much, Brad. I appreciate you. And I appreciate you testing the program out. And this is going to be such a way that is going to take the chore of mixing color and just make it a pure pleasure. And you're just going to have so much confidence with this, right? It's just so much confidence that you'll get. And that's what I love. That's what I want to do as a teacher, is I want to instill confidence in my students. And if I can do that, then you no longer need to be my students eventually, and you can go on and instill confidence in other students. So you see here, I have this color here, and it's still not quite as orange as I want it to be. And that's the thing also you have to remember, that with colors, especially with paint, some colors are much stronger. So you have to go the other direction, maybe add one color into the other because the other color is just so darn powerful. And in this case, this Wicked Red is a super powerful color. super powerful. Okay, so here we go. So the first thing is to get our main color correct. Okay, so I think we have our main color pretty much. Now, what we're going to do is get our secondary color. And our secondary color, I do see it. Go put that in, shake it up really well. See, just have to, I have these little bottles and they get a little clogged, so I just use an old needle to unclog it. Go. Ryan says, I'm afraid that's all I have time for today. Looking amazing, Tim. Really appreciating these live feeds. Have a great night all the way from Canada. Always a pleasure, Ryan. Thank you so much for being such a great friend to the channel. I really appreciate you. Okay. So I have my colors. And now I'm just going to look for my ratio. And we're going to be okay. So looking at the ratio, almost 1 to 1. And now we'll mix this. And we pretty much nailed our target color. Okay. Now also there's sometimes you might have to fix the dilution. So I may adjust the 4011 a little bit. And another thing is, like when you isolate the color and then you put that color in, you have to trust it, right? You have to trust that color because your eyes are going to be like, no, that's not the right color. But that's where the trust in the system comes, you know? Dwayne says, well, Tim, you can count on me in on it. I'm not sure people around me will like it, even more confidence, though. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Dwayne. Definitely. That's an honor. And, you know, that's great, you know. And I would love to hear how you think about it and everything. Like I said, you know, you guys will get a very steep discount. Okay, so we have our color. And it is basically the color. I'm happy with it, which is good. And again, so when I look at the color, I'm like, no, that's not the color. But in the system of, you know, the way that I find the colors, yeah, see that kind of nice orangey feel to it. Okay, let's see. So let me go back to my pure ref. And now we'll come back with my reference. And this is a nice transparent color. So basically I'm just kind of putting a light glaze over the existing color. Make sure I'm getting proper airbrush spray, because it's hard, you know, when you're on your painting, you're not sure, because it's such a light glaze. Put this over here. So I'm about 4 inches away, just putting this light glaze of color on her face. It's more orange than the red of the pomegranate and her lips. See, bringing it right over here and underneath her lower eyelid. But what I love about this technique is that it works for everything. It will work for oil painting, it will work for pastel painting. It's really quite exciting. Whoop, had a little bit of a blowout. That happens. So I think the airbrush is a little clogged. No worries, that's easily fixed. So I'll show you how it got damaged. See that little blowout? Now there's two things I can do. I can try erasing it, or I can come back with my orange and white mixture. But the main thing is to not get emotional about it, right? You just kind of think slowly, how can I fix it? Now at first I'm going to, since it's still wet, I'm going to see if lightly erasing is going to do it. So it doesn't look like it. So, well, it did work a little bit. Let me get a little bit more of an aggressive eraser. If that doesn't work, then we'll come in with the white mixture. A little bit. Let's see. There we go. So it seems to be working. Like I said, it was very light. What I'm going to do after this is I'm going to come back and go over this right here. And that's the thing, just don't get emotional about it. I'm going to come back in with the white mixture. Hey, Art Soul, how are you? Sometimes I would pick it up and X-Acto knife. Yes, that's great. And I love the X-Acto knife. And that's, I just don't have that kind of precision with the knife, but that's a great idea. Thank you for that. I'm going to come in because it's a little bit discolored over here, and see how the eraser kind of discolored. So I'm going to come in with the orange and white mixture and neutralize that. So I'm so glad to see you, Artso. How you doing? Dwayne says, once you get it down, Michael, you really like what you can do. Wow. Michael says, so computer illiterate that I have been neglecting my artwork to try to get Cameo 4 on my laptop to work together. Michael, contact me. Let's see if we could meet up one day. We'll just meet up, no problem, and I'll just give you some tips and tricks on Cameo 4. What do you say? You know, we'll meet up online on one of my classroom things, you know, teleconferencing. I'd be happy to help you with that. You just need that little bit of boost, right? So what I'm going to do, and this is great, you know, it's great that I have these issues online in the live streams, because that is great for you guys. You know, when this happens to you, you're not going to be like, oh no, what am I going to do? Ah, thanks, Art Soul. I appreciate you. Thank you. And so let me know, Michael. I'll be more than happy to take care of you. So, and of course, that would be no charge. All right, so let's see. So I'm going to get out my airbrush cleaning supplies. I'm just going to go to the sink and just quickly give my airbrush a what for. Let's see. So you have this, a rag, and some Q-tips, and I'll be right back. And the Q-tips are the ones that you get from CVS brand, because they don't leave fibers. So guys, just hang on with me, talks among yourselves, you have some great conversations. I will be right back. Thanks for waiting. I guess it would be good to actually take the airbrush with me. What do you say? I think that's good. Yeah. Alright guys, I'll be back. Okay, that wasn't too bad, right? That was pretty quick. Thanks for waiting, everybody. I appreciate yous. Oh, look at that. Art Soul says everything is done by hand. Old school. Very cool. Very admire that. Definitely. Tim, it's just that I'm not good with computers and very old school. It's a lot to take in. I'm watching a lot of YouTube. I'll tell you what. How about this? What if I make a special video that I'll make this week going over how to use the Cricut. I mean the Cameo 4. Let me see if I can do that for you. But I definitely want to help you. I definitely feel for you, my friend. It's not easy, and I'll just make it in its, just break it down into just what you need to know. Not all the bells and whistles that get in the way, right? Isn't that true? It kind of gets in the way. And I do have some group classes on Fridays. And if I do have one on the Cameo 4, I'll give you an invite, okay? You're not alone in this. So right now I have this orange-white mixture that I use. And we'll see how this goes. Make sure that my airbrush is working tip-top. Now I usually have a spare piece of paper that is the same as the painting I'm working on. And Dwayne says, oh, he learned on an old commercial cutter, so the Cameo and the Cricut was so easy to use. Yes. Wendy says she didn't have time to mess with it. Her best friend had surgery, so you took care of her, and she will be back this weekend, so maybe after the doctor visits. Oh, cool. Yes, Wendy, you're going to do great with that. Okay, so my airbrush is working well. Let me zoom it. We'll keep it zoomed in. We'll bring this over. And I definitely want to test before I go in with gangbusters. And I'll test over here by her hand. Let's see. Make sure that what I want is what it's going to do. Yeah, see how it's lightening that up. Let's go ahead and come back up. And let's test this out. See how we're getting rid of that? And that's how you fix a problem like that. And now we'll just go over that with color. There we go. So now you can see that we're pretty much set up to fix it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to expel this white mixture here. I'm going to bring back in our other color. One thing I did forget to do was to strain the paint, right? So see how a temporary lapse in judgment can really pay dividends in the, with issues you don't need to have. Get my handy paint strainer. And let's see. All my cups. Okay, now we're just going to take the color that I mixed before, remix it, And we're going to put this through the strainer. Vinyl is rough. It's not easy, and I agree with you, Wendy. It's not easy. But you'll get the hang of it, trust me. Let me just pour this in here. Okay, so I have some strained paint, and I think I'm going to thin it out just a tad bit more with 4011. Okay. Okay, here goes. We'll put it back in our Extreme Patriot Arrow. Oh, I definitely got to wash this airbrush out with a rag. Still has the white mixture in there. And we'll spray this into our makeshift spray bottle here. Okay, here goes nothing. Nice thinned out strained paint here. Okay. Now remember here, here's a really good thing. So you see this? How there's a little bit of white on the cap? That could really affect your whole color. So you don't want it to contaminate. You don't want to go through all that and then you don't clean your cap and then all of a sudden pandemonium strikes. Let's see here. Perfect. Okay. Here goes. Now we're going to work on getting this color back. Now if I want subtlety, I'm going to increase my distance right here. There we go. So now I have that, and I can come back in with the orange mixture and kind of calm that down. And Michael says, yeah, I want to get the sunflower clown painting done so you can start some car paintings. That's fantastic. And Wendy says she was just trying to make Christmas presents. Dwayne says, but work on a lot of rounded surfaces like vinyl works so much better. Yeah, true. And see, now I kind of brought that back. And I can always lighten it again with some of that beautiful orange and white mixture. So you always want to have a little bit of orange and white mixture to you know, kind of assimilate, and if you make any mistakes, have a nice bottle waiting like I do, like right here, orange and white mixture. And this way you can go in and not miss a step, you know what I mean? So I'm just taking this kind of orangey flesh color and bringing that over. Here we go. And notice I go over the hair a lot, you know, like don't worry about blue shift with hair because it's so dark. You can just paint that right back in, right? And so that's always a plus. Wendy says, so are you using white to make color corrections or orange mixed with white? Yes, Wendy, the orange-white mixture is definitely because you want to combat that blue shift. So, and notice when I did use that mixture, I came down over here to test it out. So I didn't test it out, you know, in that area that was already kind of contaminated with the blue shift. Or, well, it wasn't a blue shift, it was a blowout, you know, from the airbrush. Sometimes you can do everything right, mix the right color and everything, and then all of a sudden blow out, and it's like, it's not my fault, but you still have to fix it, right? So that's basically what happens. Dwayne says he did an aluminum gas tank a couple weeks ago. Obviously, magnets to hold the stencils weren't going to work. Oh man, that's where the vinyl came in. Wow, very good. So that was a good decision, right? Good problem solving. I'm going to intensify the color of her hand here. Right down here too. So I'm going to keep the light of the hand, but since I'm farther away, I'm just glazing some flesh color on her hand there. And so that's kind of like, you know, some techniques that come from my oil painting days is glazing. But you can only glaze over a lighter color. You can scumble over a darker color, but you can only glaze over a lighter color. Okay. In her ear, we're going to make sure the airbrush is always working correctly, because with these little details, you can't really see it. I may have to raise my air pressure. Okay. So right here on her ears, it's cold. Has some of that orange color. See, I'm not worried about blue shift on the hair. I can just go right over that hair again. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at a different color, but let me go ahead and clean out my paint strainer. Be right back. Okay, so now what we want to do is I want to come in with a kind of gray color that's in her face here. It's sort of a mid-tone that's lighter that I think would work. And we can kind of bring that down here as well. So we're going to try and mix that together. Put this aside here. Okay. Like I said, guys, I haven't painted in like 10 days, and a little bit kind of unprepared this evening. But thanks for putting up with me. I appreciate it. And Art Soul says, I would never use white again to correct anymore. Never know how much worse the color will shift. Yeah, you got to be careful, right? So I always do a test on the side. I always recommend that. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to, I know this is a real dark color, but I'm going to come in and I want to assimilate that color a little bit. I don't know, the fumes of the paint seem a little more toxic than normal today. I just think it's because I spent 10 days away, so the smells are a little more pungent. Does that sound right? Does that sound something that you guys find? Like when you're away from painting for a while? Now granted, I do about 6 to 8 hours a day normally, so this is my first day back. Okay, so I cleaned this out, and now we're going to put a little bit of the orange-white mixture in just to assimilate some of this. I should have like 6 airbrushes going, right? That would be good. Okay, let's test this out. Now I did have that dark red in there, but hopefully, there we go. Okay. Even that red a little bit will even help us with what we're trying to do. So I'm going to be pretty far back, maybe like 6 inches away, and I'm just going to lightly dust over this. So for 6 inches away, what this is doing, it's really assimilating the color. Just softening it. And that's the whole thing. You keep going back and forth, back and forth. And a lot of times I'll use this white mixture to set up a glaze, right? Because you can't glaze a darker color, so you have to lighten it up. So I'm going to lighten this up here as well. Same thing right here. Just softening this up. And once I lighten this up like this, then I can come in with that kind of golden color that I'm going to be using soon. Okay. Now I can come back in with the color I had before. And just kind of put that in again. Just test it out to make sure that you're getting proper spray, and we are. And so it's good to have the orange mixture with you, because you can see where, oh, okay, maybe I went a little dark, so I can bring that back. So keep going back and forth. That's a good way to do it. Dwayne says, yes, all of them are. Actually, I have the regular Createx paints. Michael says, if you do it that much a time a day with painting, you must shake up a lot of paint then. Oh, yeah, definitely. So true, Michael. We always got to keep our head in the game, We always got to make sure that we're not getting lax, and that's something I always have to fight against. But going back and forth with this white mixture, I really can kind of refine the shapes a little bit. There we go. And then I can come back in with the darks. Okay, so now we have that. And again, I want this kind of grayish olive color in her face. So I'm going to explore that right now. Alright. Alright, so I have a general idea of what I need, right? So first thing is I'm just going to check the color. We'll be using orange for this one. And okay, let's make this happen. I'm going to get some cups. Yeah, you can see, since today getting back to work, that I'm a little bit rusty. And Mr. Michael McClung says, "Is that an Elvis Presley microphone right there?" Thank you very much. Actually, it's a blue microphone. The company is blue, and the model is the Yeti. It's really cool. But yeah, it does have that old school vibe, doesn't it, sir? And let's see. So the thing is, it's one thing to have the color, but you have to make sure you have the same dilution. Because different dilution is like still changing the ratio, isn't it? Okay. And we're going to dilute this color here. Interesting enough, what goes against our normal idea of what a color is when you really isolate a color. It's pretty wild. Okay. Alright, so now we have this color, and we're going to get rid of this color here, which isn't too bad because the new color is a little bit lighter. So here is the color in question. So you can see it's a little interesting. It's not a normal color that you would think, right? Just gonna wipe this out, wipe out my cup. Like I said, I need like 12 airbrushes going for a live stream. Alright, here goes. I'm not straining it, so putting caution to the wind here. Again, remember about the cap, right? We want to make sure that the cap is nice and clean. Dwayne says, Vortex mixer for the win, under 40 bucks. Very cool. And Wendy has the regular Createx. The illustrations are wonderful. I love the... So the thing is, you work a little harder for, and I know Mr. Dwayne is going to concur, you work a little harder, but you have a lot more options what to paint. Okay, so this is great. So now what we'll do, I have a lot of mixtures here. And let's bring back this. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and we're going to kind of hit this mid-tone here in her face. See this kind of grayed out mid-tone? Coming down here, and what it's doing is separating the side plane of the nose. It's still in light, but it's the perfect color, like a Bouguereau. And my mixing technique is actually allowing me to get this color here, this real subtle transition. But since it's going away from the light, it's going to lose some of that saturation of color. So that's an important consideration, and that's what, you know, this color mixing technique does. So it kind of continues with the light, but desaturates it. Color desaturates as it moves away from the light. Even slightly, there's going to be a desaturation. Okay, and we have a little bit by her ear. But definitely you can see you have the red, and then you have the light of the side plane of the nose because it's facing the light most directly. And then you have this kind of grayed, golden gray here. Now the interesting thing about getting that golden gray is actually an orange, which is interesting. And Mr. Astral says he doesn't know about Createx white, but he knows titanium white overpowers colors, whereas zinc white just tints the colors. And are these things you have to be aware of Createx white? Interesting. Mr. Todd from San Diego, thank you so much, my friend, for hanging out. You know, it's interesting. So when it comes to white, with Airbrush, we have the ability to spray it very thin and create that kind of zinc white effect, right? So we have that ability. So yeah, and also with the different whites that we have, like right here would be Detail Flat Opaque White by Wicked. This would be like almost like pure titanium white out of the bottle. So you wouldn't want to spray this if you're worried about blue shift. However, if you are looking for Wicked Detail Light, that definitely is a transparent white, a little more detail. We have a Wicked, do we have a regular Detail Wicked White? I don't know if we do. I thought I did. I thought I had it. So this one, the Wicked White, is going to be a little more transparent, but you want to thin it out. And so I would go with that as opposed to any of the opaque. Anything that says opaque on it is definitely something you want to stay away from. And Dwayne says he has an entire illustration line to use them at times, but he does the canvas or paper painting that much, and they can be a lot harder surfaces if you mix 40-50. That's true, very true. That's great insight, sir. That's for sure. So now we have that. I still have the white mixture, right? So I want to go back and forth and just continue to create that assimilation here. See how I can extend that a little bit. Gonna lighten right around her nostril here. And that's what the light mixture affords me to do. Okay, so pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to come back in with this beautiful color, this wonderful kind of neutral yellowish gray. And we're just going to bring that down. Kind of get rid of any of the chalkiness of the color. And that's an interesting term. That's like a oil painter's term. If your colors are chalky, means you need to add some life to those whites that you have. And you just keep playing around with it until you get exactly what you're looking for. Right here it's a little dark on the bridge of her nose, but right now it looks a little dark, so I'm going to hold off on lighting it because I still have to come in with the dark on this side of the nose. So that's something to really think about. So you don't want to make big changes unless you have all the pieces of the puzzle in there, right? So make sure you don't do that. And let's see. And Wendy says, yes, titanium white is a bit powerful. So true. And so it's just great conversation out there. Thank you, everybody, for, your great participation and your knowledge you're sharing with me. I really appreciate that. So now you can see that, although I am going back and forth, I am getting a nice assimilation. You don't want it to look like, just, one color next to another. You want it to be a painting. So I have the white mixture in, and this is a little hard edged here. So I'm just going to probably see how I just softened that up just a little bit there? And then I can come in later and darken that up. I just wanted to assimilate that. Get a sense of, her flesh, right? That's very important. There we go. Okay, so now we're getting a nice sense. So now, before I go, I want to start hitting the darks over here. So there's a beautiful dark on this side of her nose, and I'm going to mix that color. And as I mix that color, I should have this bridge of the nose, which looks too dark, that should lighten up, because that is the color. And so cool that you came and hang out with us there, Todd. I appreciate you. Okay, so now let's hit that dark. So I have these colors here. And let's see what we can do here. Okay, so this is a very dark color right here. Okay, so I'm happy with that. All right. Find the color. Okay, so I know what I have to do. And let's get more of those colors. And I do have some of these colors left over from the other mixtures. That's the good thing. Like when you get going, right? When you really get going, the process gets faster because you have all your colors. Okay, that looks pretty close. And then, you can always tweak it a little bit. You're in the ballpark, but you want to tweak it just a little bit. Michael says, for me, he likes the illustration line because it's thinner and good for the airbrush. Other line of Createx is good for paintbrush, but it's thicker. Yeah, it's all about preference, right, sir? So I'm in agreement there. It's all about preference. Okay, so we can probably come in with a little more of orange here. Just a tad. Just a taste. Okay, so it's a little thicker than I want it to be, so that means I just a little more 4011. And this I'm going to go through a paint strainer, no doubt about it. So we learned about, what to do when there's a mistake, a blowout, so that was good that we learned today. I was able to show you guys. Dwayne says that the illustration does spray easier, but it doesn't work for most of what surfaces. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I kind of went for that, is the ability to, that ability to work on any surface. But I do love the illustration line, don't get me wrong. It is easier to work with, but it's limited, that's all. So it depends on what your goals are. But it's not a one size fits all, right? Everyone has. So one of the reasons why I also chose the detail line, the Wicked line, was the challenge. I wanted the challenge to kind of, tame that bronco of a paint line, and once you tame it and you learn it, it really is predictable. Okay, here goes. I'm going to put this in here. I'm not straining it because it's so close to the end of the night, so we're drawing caution to the wind. Let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the color, guys. Let's see. I am going to use a freehand shield here. I'm a cowboy, but not that much of a cowboy. Oh, that's why he has a nice bottle of 4050. So true. And Dwayne says the illustration line does spray easier, but doesn't work. Now, what about UV? Do you find that the UV isn't as strong with the illustration as with the Wicked, Dwayne, in your travels? Okay, that's the color we're looking for, guys. See how fast I was able to find that color. See how I'm able to darken that? Let me get back to the right screen here. So it's really quick, this way of mixing colors, as you can see. No way is perfect, but this is really going to open up a lot. For those who really have trouble mixing color, it's really going to be a revelation. See how I'm able to get that darker? And notice that when I came in with that darker color, how the color that I wanted to lighten actually fell into place because of the dark color now that's next to it, kind of lightened that color up. And just making sure I'm getting good spray. See that? It's so the color, it really was just one, it was just two colors I mixed to get that color. So no need for, colors like yellow ochre anymore. No need for colors like raw sienna. No need for colors like any of the burnt siennas. With this technique, there's no need for those colors. You can use them to glaze and to get effects, but you don't need those colors anymore to mix. Just you don't need them anymore, which is really amazing. Dwayne says there's no UV resistance in the illustration. Wow, okay, that's great information. So if you would definitely have to varnish that to protect it. So see how this color, so once we do this, so before we were lightening things up and we were assimilating color, and it looked like I was kind of deadening everything. But in reality, what I was doing was assimilating it and kind of getting that mid-tone thing going, where everything's a mid-tone again. And then when I come into the dark, it really makes things pop, and then at the end I can come in with the lightest lights. And it's very similar to what I do with the Airbrush and India inks in the monochromatic, Oh, look at that. Dwayne doesn't use those. Very cool. Yeah, so you know about color mixing, and for the most part you are able to get a lot of colors. Um, you're able to get any color without any of those colors. Now, should you have those colors? Of course. Yeah, because you want to, play with colors. You want to be a lot more expressive. So yeah, those colors are good. But to mix those colors, you don't want to be dependent on the difference between burnt sienna and burnt orange. You don't want to do that. It's because there's a lot of other colors in those colors. So when you mix those colors, that's what happens. There's a lot of pigments in these secondary colors, and when you mix it, those other pigments kind of activate. So my technique actually gets you away from that. And Dwayne says illustration is made for what he calls wall art. It doesn't need to be UV resistant like outside stuff. Yes, not to that degree, right? So I'm going to look for, so I'm really happy with that. I just want to say I'm really very happy with the way that turned out and how it kind of gave some a nice contrast to the bridge of the nose there. So I mixed several colors today, and you can see how I didn't use any colors out of the bottle. These are all mixed colors, and I mixed them rather quickly. So, and I'm really excited about this technique coming up that I'm going to be sharing with everybody soon. And I'm going to use this up here. By the hair. And I'm going to come in and darken up that hair a little bit. Right here by her eye there. Like I said, I've been away from this painting for about 10 days, so it's taken me time just to get reacclimated with her. And yes, that's good info. Yes, thank you, Dwayne. I concur with Astral. That is very good info. It's so good to have Mr. Dwayne here. He always has this great information, you know. We're very blessed to have him. Just going to hit the dark of the ear there. Now, I'm going to come in with the freehand stencil right here. I want to get this dark in between her sweater and her jawbone. Okay, let's see. Alright, so what we need. Hopefully I have it. Yes, okay. So we'll put this here. Just line up that jawbone. Now we need the small magnets for that. And now I'm looking for something that just has her jacket or the sweater. Or I may just have to just make my own little shield. Yep, I think that's the route to go. Okay. Alright, so I'll use this freehand shield here. And we'll make sure we get this correct. Okay. And here we got this little curve going in. Oh wow! So Mr. Mike does most of his studio work out in the garage. Great. Dwayne says the illustration line is also slow to cure, giving you time to manipulate it like erasing and scratching. Definitely. And Dwayne says, "Thank you, Brad. Some of it's worthwhile." Definitely. Dwayne does have a worth of knowledge. I agree, Mr. Brad. Definitely. We're all so very fortunate to be on the receiving end of that knowledge. Thank you, sir. Now you see they have some openings that were the best defense is not to be there. So let's just cover this up. So I'm going to start everything, you know, for the next in 2 weeks to do the next painting. So I want to come in with that dark, make sure I get the right airbrush. So you see that color, and if I told you the two colors that mixed it, you'd be very surprised. There we go, nothing too crazy. So wicked is wicked. That's so funny. You know, wicked is interesting. Wicked paint, I love it. I like working with it. I love working with it because like anything else in life, sometimes the things that are most difficult to handle at first give you the best payoff, and I feel Wicked paints are like that. There we go. See how we have that more. Now here, you see here, it's, but maybe we can. Let's see. Maybe we can. Let's go back to here. I want to hit this right there. And Astral's cracking up, and Dwayne says he do at time use illustration and mix 40/50 for outside stuff, but it's much easier to use the Wicked. Great info. Yeah, Wicked is definitely, that's why it's like a lot, definitely a smaller group of artists use Wicked, specialize in Wicked out there. And then there's even smaller group of artists like me who do, you know, as Mr. Dwayne called, wall paintings, right? And just because I love the challenge. Okay, and let's see what we got. So today was all airbrush work, no paintbrush. That's the great thing about the 75-25. You get a little bit of everything. So as you can see now, we have a little more structure to her, and I really feel that her features are a lot softer today than in the beginning of the day, and that's what I was definitely after, is creating a painting that has a softness, not a photorealism, but to have a softness of a painting, of emotion that I'm trying to portray in my artwork. So as you can see, as I come closer, you see how everything is so soft. And so it gives us room to come in and hit some of those darks and then the highlights to really make things punch, you know. And we're going to work on her lips and her nostrils, you know, define some of that, and you know, really bring this home. So it's a lot of fun to paint like this, going back and forth. So I really enjoy the style, uh, and you can't rush it, right? We can't go forward if we are not ready. But a lot of the color mixing with the technique is in you know, the wonderful colors of her jacket, the shadows, how they're different, and the translucency, and even today with the pomegranate. So there's a lot going on, a lot of color mixing, and trying to match the colors, and successfully matching the colors to create a you know, a painting that is realistic, but to me, I don't want it photorealistic. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Dwayne, thank you so much for all that great information. Brad, so you guys are all so wonderful. Thank you so much for all of your, you know, wonderful, warm condolences on my mom, who's in heaven now. And this live stream, of course, was dedicated to her. And thank you, everyone. Thanks, Astral. It's always a blast with you, my friend. Thank you, everyone who hung out, and I really appreciate it. Michael, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get you mastering that silhouette, okay? You know, I can help you with that. Believe it or not, I'm gonna really get you going. And John Diekman, thank you so much for the super chat. Brad, thank you so much. Ms. Colette, I appreciate you. Michael McClung, thank you so much. Dave for the super chat, I really appreciate you. Dwayne, thank you so much, guys. You all are amazing. If I missed anybody, I really do apologize. Thank you, everybody, for hanging around. And Bobby, take care. My prayers are with you this week. And I will be talking to everyone soon. Yes, Michael, you give me a call. I won't be too busy for you. So definitely want to work together, and we're gonna get that going. Astral, have a great day. Oh, thank you for hanging out all the way from the UK. I just want to say, in Art Soul, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. We had, Ryan here, and Mr. John Diekman. It's always a pleasure. We had somebody who I think was new, but everyone that was new here, thank you so much. And Paul, it's great to see you again. Have a great night. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon.